Not everybody has a full idea of what business process management suites can do, so there's just a little bit of a refresher for those who already know it, and a bit of introduction for those who don't. The Total Agility product is a full suite of business process management services. Really, it's all about treating your processes that serve your customers as assets. To allow you to better improve how you serve your customers. Those assets are very important operationally within your businesses, and a business process management suite combined with a certain management technique of managing processes aggressively allows you to provide that better service to your client. Why Capture Enabled BPM? I've touched on a few of these things already, but really what you want to do is you want to connect strongly the information that the customer is trying to give you to the process that's necessary to satisfy their request. To date, we feel that's been largely disconnected or loosely connected, and it has required, I guess, the putting together of the technology to get that information from sources of information, be it a photograph on a mobile device, be it on a letter, or be it on a website that allows you to scan in documents, and connect that directly into the process. So to very much make that connection very strong. And you need a combination of technology that can both take the information in, but also understand it, decompose it into the pieces that it needs to understand in order to serve it up to the right process. So the right process get enacted, and the right information, the cleansed information, is then provided to that process so it can operate as seamlessly as possible. When you do that, you mammothly reduce the latency. And again, I think that the reduction in the latency is the most important part. It allows you to get things done quickly. And I can't overemphasize how important it is to be able to react quickly to your clients. I say, for me personally, it's the thing that determines most about customer service, how quickly there is a response. And you find even a response that says, "I got your message," is valued. Now, if you can combine that with a response with, "I got your message and I've solved your problem," then people really do value that. Well, why is this important? And I'm doubly emphasizing this. If you can do this, then you have information you can do something with much quicker. You can do it much earlier in the process. You can do it much more simply throughout the process. And you can work with much greater accuracy because you're taking the information right from its point of origination. It's not getting translated multiple times throughout the process. You're cleansing it right up front, and that's what the capture technology allows you to do, not just recognize characters, but allows you to take that data and transform it and supplement it, enrich it, and bring it into the process in ways that previously wasn't possible, but it's going directly into the process, cleansed and enriched, and allowing you to get much greater accuracy and much lower costs in your processes, because very few of the processes then will have exceptions. And that all helps to reduce the cycle time. And reduced cycle time has other implications. If you can shorten the duration of your process with the same resources that you have, it means you can do more of them. It means your business can scale better. So all of these things, I think, are largely predicated on the fact that you can do things faster. You can do them more accurately and faster, and that allows you to get better leverage across your business. So talked a bit about the idea of dynamic case management in the earlier presentations from Martin and Reynolds. And I just wanted to, again, identify what that means for the wider audience. Case management is really the execution of processes that are expected to change in their lifetime. So you have this idea of processes, and people think of them as being flow diagrams. One thing happens after another. There might be some decision points to create some variability, but by and large, the same thing happens over and over again. And in a lot of call centers, that's what happens. You get lots of people getting to do the same thing over and over again. But what we're finding is that in the modern world, there's many more processes now that require change, either because of the duration of the process. So if it's a health process or a legal process, it could take weeks, months, or years to execute. Or the process themselves are quite dynamic insofar as the individual subject matter of the process requires it to be executed entirely differently almost every time. Now, how do you manage those types of processes, the ones that are going to change so radically? And that's what case management is looking to do. It's giving you the tools to be flexible, but to be flexible in an environment that is still controlled on behalf of the organization. What I'd like to do is talk through a few more examples. This is an example of Swale Council. They wanted to better service their citizens, so they implemented Total Agility in an online system to allow both through online and through call centers to be able to interact with the citizens, you and I, in ever better ways, to allow them to provide better services in their council area. So they implemented a system whereby all of the back-end processes were were handled by Total Agility, and there were many of them. There's over 25 different services currently available through this mechanism. And they've also allowed this to be connected to their CRM system. And for them, a CRM system, the C is citizen. So they can understand now the history of what's happened with each individual citizen. And with that history, they can better service them in the future. That was a reasonably complex system. There was over 60 different processes involved in those 25 services. They had difficulty prior to this in meeting their service targets. Now they don't, and they've hugely increased their customer satisfaction. It's up to 98%, which is high by anybody's measure. So they've been able to, again, better service their clients. Now, if you think of this in the context of Capture, how could Capture improve this further? Well, if you were a citizen and you're walking down the street and you saw in the UK, I don't know if the Americans have the same problem. In the UK, we have this problem called fly tipping. Is everybody familiar with fly tipping? We do have councils who have processes to deal with fly tipping because it involves a whole slew of people to go out and solve the problem and work with the person who's reported it. But at the moment, if you had a problem with fly tipping, you'll have to ring up and go through a whole palaver, I guess. With mobile capture, you should be able to take a picture. With the location device that's in your phone, it'll be able to pinpoint exactly where it is. And that can kick off a process with evidence to get that resolved very quickly. This final example really is of the enterprise-ready nature of the technology. Newell Rubbermaid are the provider of, as you can expect, everything rubber, also everything plastic in your kitchen. From the mop bucket to the stuff you stack your dishes in, and much more besides that. So they are a multi-billion-dollar operation, and what they found is that they had implemented a SAP system that looked after all of their ERP needs, but they wanted all of their organization to have much better access to processes that interacted with their SAP system. So they implemented Total Agility with over 3,000 users to be able to do that. Newell Rubbermaid are unusual in that, as far as I'm aware, they haven't asked us for one consultancy day. They took the technology, they took the training, and they implemented the entire system themselves. So that's a testament to being able to interact with enterprise-scale technology and to do it with Total Agility technology in a way that allows the customer full control over that. So they're doing this, and they're doing it themselves, and they haven't asked for any of our assistance to do that. We have this concept of zero code in Total Agility to allow you to be able to allow businesses to have greater influence as to how these things unfurl. And they've implemented a whole range of different processes, all on the back of Total Agility, that interact with all of their main systems, of which the principal one is SAP. I just want to finish off by reminding you, I guess, what are the principles we're trying to deliver with Capture Enabled BPM. We want the processes to begin as early as possible, preferably with the customer or the employee. We want that point of origination to happen as early as possible, and for that information to get into the processes as quickly as possible. We want that information to be as clean as possible, so it can be automated as much as possible. And with that automation, then you can have instantaneous or close to instantaneous customer service. And where you can't do that, you have sophisticated technology to deal with the exceptions. And finally, it should be able to plug into your existing infrastructure. We recognize that there are huge investments already in infrastructure and ERP systems, but you want to unlock the value of those in ever better ways. And again, this technology allows you to do this in a very user-friendly and business-friendly way.